Hello everyone, it is the Canadian Futures Trader here. Welcome to the channel and welcome to the video.
Gotta get more followers.
If you have not already, be sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, get notified every time I put out a brand new video. Today's video, going to be talking about a new funded trader evaluation company that I've learned about in the last day or so, Apex Trader Funding. I've received an amazing amount of emails over the last day about the company, so much so that I added just now to my contact page, please stop emailing me about Apex Trader Funding. I'm well aware of them. I decided to take a look at Apex. Now, normally I'm not looking at every trader evaluation company that's out there. I have the ones that I've been through. I tend to focus on those, obviously, because I'm most familiar with them. But because of the interest in Apex, I thought, let's take a look at their website. I've only taken a quick look at it, so we're going to go through it together here. At first glance, it looks like they do actually have a pretty good offering on their site for traders, so that's why I wanted to put it out there. Of course, a link down below to Apex Trader Funding if you are interested. So it is a trader evaluation company, much like the other ones that I talk about, and I'm sure you are familiar with. So let's just take a look at the bullet points here. Definitely a few things stood out as positive. So multiple accounts within one login. I don't know how many, but multiple is good, as I know several of you do like the idea of using trade copiers. Trade full-size contracts and evaluation of funded accounts. I'm not quite sure what they mean by that, if they mean not only the micros and the minis, but the actual full contracts. Not 100% sure on that one. No scaling plan and no failing by going over contract size. So as you're familiar with, some companies have a scaling plan, some don't, but even the ones that don't have a scaling plan, you can fail your evaluation if you trade too many contracts. Well, they have it in place where you just can't enter too many contracts, like the system won't let you. No daily drawdowns. Hey, that's a perk. I missed that one when I first went through. Trade on holidays, trade during the news. Basically, it's a little bit more liberal. Let's put it that way. Let's finish going over this list, but it sounds like it's pretty liberal. No total cap on maximum payout. One-step evaluation process, that's good. 10-day evaluation, always a fan of that. Real-time data included, that's pretty standard. Simple risk management rules, trade multiple accounts, that is kind of already mentioned. Receive 100% of the first 10K, so that is a little bit of a benefit over the other companies, which tend to be anywhere from 5,000 to 8,000, and there's 90% after that, which is also a benefit. Everywhere else in town is going to be 80%. So far so good. So let's take a look at some more specifics and figure out if we, meaning you or I or anyone, should be signing up for Apex Trader Funding. So they do have a video, it's 34 minutes. I'm obviously not going to make you watch that. I have not watched it myself yet. I will save that for later. I mainly just kind of want to get to the key points here. 10 days trailing drawdown, we'll have to get to that. And when we look at the account sizes, I do know they have some pretty big account sizes, which is always a perk. Trade any day, 23 hours a day. Now, of course, they don't mean like trade on a Saturday afternoon. The markets aren't even open, but trade, the normal hours kind of that we're used to. One step, trade during the news. Some of you will like that. I know you do like to trade during the news because it can be quite volatile. And maximum position size, again, meaning no scaling plan. So just kind of a recap of some of the key points there. So they have accounts all the way from 25, they have a 50, a 75, and if you continue to scroll, 100K, 150K, 250K, but keep scrolling, there's more. 300K account, and then they have a 100K static account, which is minis and micros. I don't tend to get into these type of things, like you can look at that one if you're into it. And then resets are $80. So we've kind of skipped over a lot of stuff here, but I just want to address that while we're here. So they have a little bit cheaper reset fee, $80 and no limit. I mean, I think that's kind of standard, but still a little bit cheaper for you. Once you get funded, it is $85 per month. Pretty cheap. Honestly, actually probably the cheapest in town in terms of the ones that are an ongoing fee. And it looks like that includes, besides your data, you'll get a free copy of NinjaTrader, and it says wire. I'm assuming no wire fees when you do withdrawals via wire. We will get to the payout methods. So let's look at, I want to look at the 100K just while I am a fan of bigger account sizes, I think the 100K is one, or the 150, that I can relate to other programs that I've kind of been through in past. So one thing I noticed is that their contracts tend to be a little bit more. For example, the 50K, you can trade 10 contracts. I think everywhere else is either, I know TopStep is 5, everywhere else I believe is 6. So trading 10, hey, that is great. Let's just do the 50K since we're here. Profit goal 3,000. I think that's pretty standard for 50K, but you get like almost double the amount of contracts to do it with. Trailing drawdown 2,500. All right, no daily drawdown amount. I know that'll be a big perk to a lot of people. I get asked this several times. Is there anywhere that has no daily drawdown? And I think up till this point, there wasn't. Everywhere has a daily drawdown, so not with APEC. No scaling plan, so you can go the full clip from day one. You can trade your 10 contracts. You get free copy of Ninja Trader and free data, of course. So it's $167. This threw me off a little bit when I first saw it. I saw 167, 30 days. I thought it meant it was a 30-day evaluation until I kind of went back and actually read the bullet points. They just mean it's $167 a month for the fee, which I think is pretty standard. I mean, that's right in the ballpark with everybody else. So jumping ahead here, so the 100K is 14 contracts, and the 150K 7. This is actually a little bit kind of a weird amount, I will say. Just the just kind of how it scales, and I don't mean the scaling plan, but you go from, you can have 4 contracts with a 25K. You can have 10 contracts with a 50K, but you can only have 12 contracts with a 75. Or 14 here, or 17, like 17 here, you're almost better off just doing 2 of these and getting 20 contracts. Anyways, I'll leave that. You guys need to look it over and decide what you want. It looks like the profit goal scales pretty much. The trailing drawdown, not so much. The 50K looks like a better deal, if you want to put it that way, in terms of you get more contracts for your money. But, you know, obviously if you want the bigger accounts, you have a few choices. You can just go with a bigger account, or you could, and sorry for scrolling all over, I'm trying to like compare the different numbers. You can either just go with a big account or go with multiple of the smaller accounts, since they do allow multiple accounts, and kind of get yourself to where you need to be that way. I guess it kind of gives something for everybody. Those of you that like having multiple accounts and maybe trading different strategies in different accounts, go with a couple of the smaller ones. Or if you just want to go big, hey, 300K account, 35 contracts, 20K profit goal, trailing drawdown, and none. So I know myself, if I was to try out, I would be looking at, quite honestly, yeah, 250 or the 300. Hard to say. One of the two. I do like a lot of contracts. Now, I will say for myself, because that was another question I got a lot of emails saying, hey, have you heard about this company? Can you do a review of this company? Check out this company. But another person said you should try out for them. And while I appreciate the encouragement, the reality is I already have way more trader evaluation companies than I know what to do with. I'm actually looking at closing some of my accounts, just cashing them in, consolidating all my money. And this isn't a brag whatsoever, but I'm kind of at the point where I don't need any more trader valuations. I just kind of want to take the money and consolidate it in my own account and just trade like my own account. So I can't say that right now I'm looking to do this, but if I was, I would go with one of the bigger ones. So let's see, I'm not going to read over every single thing on their page, guys. You can obviously do that. Here's a list of the products. I think it's going to be pretty standard. Let's check it out. Let's see, corn. Corn's definitely a hot topic lately in the Discord. The metals, looking for the treasuries. Here we go. 30-year and the Ultra Bond, my favorite. So it's pretty standard list, I would say. I mean, this is what you can trade kind of everywhere. So let's select one of these and just see what the process looks like. So I'm going to hit start now. Okay, so this has a very familiar look. If you are familiar with LeeLoo, they're basically using the same backend, I would say, which probably is just Stripe, but that is neither here nor there. If you have a coupon code, it is down here after the address information, just so you know. Might have a coupon for you in the near future. I will definitely put out a secondary video when I have that information. You would come here, you'd sign, fill in, if you haven't signed up for an account yet, you'd sign up, choose how you're going to pay, you're going to get your Rhythmic credentials, you log in, you trade your heart out, and you pass in 10 days is what you do. So I went to the facts. There's lots of stuff on their site. They have blog posts, etc. Again, not going to go through every single item on the site. I encourage you to do so. Let's take a look at a few things that I know people will they'll ask. So I get this question time to time. It isn't one of the things that they have in their FAQs. Are there any requirements like credit checks, background checks, etc.? Once you pass and get funded, they say it right here in their own FAQ. There's no credit checks, no background checks, no asset requirements, etc. So just an FYI. So once active, how does a PA account work? PA standing for performance account. It is your funded account. Let's just call spade a spade. Their rules are basically LeeLoo's rules in terms of how the drawdown works. I will say this, withdrawals are only once a month. There's requirements on how many, there's limits, it says right here in the first 3 payouts. So I'm going to leave that to you guys to dig into the details and decide that, but just know that they mentioned that the fee is $85. We kind of already covered that. You get an NinjaShare for free. 100% of the first 10K is yours, 90% thereafter, which is a good split. I mean, that is the best deal out there on both of those fronts, I will tell you that. How payouts work: last day of the month, again, the 100% of first 100K, 90% thereafter, made by PayPal, wire transfer, or you can have a check mailed. So request your payout between the 20th and the 25th of the month. And then, as it said, you'll be paid out on the last business day. If you put in a request after the 25th, you might get denied. You might just have to wait till the next month. Fair warning, guys, you know the rules. You got to play by them. Before you can do your first payout, you have to trade 25 days. So you are essentially looking at least a month before you'd be able to do your first withdrawal. And then keep in mind that withdrawals are processed at the end of the month. So just depending on the timing of when you got your performance account and when you started trading it, you might be able to hit the end of that first month, or you might just have to wait till the next one. You have to trade 10 days in between payouts. So that's another question I actually get asked a decent amount is there a minimum number of trading days with other companies, minimum volume, etc. Each company is unique, and with Apex here, it is 10 trading days. So basically, you're going to have to put in a few trading days in order to request a withdrawal. You are paid out as a contractor, which is pretty standard. So if you live in the United States, it's a 1099. I mean, you can read up on all of that stuff. If you live outside of the United States, you fill in what is called a W-8 BEN. It is basically a form that you submit to the company that basically says, hey, I don't live in the United States. I won't be paying taxes in the United States. I will take care of taxes in my home country. The company, being Apex or whoever the other company is, holds onto this form. They basically keep it on file so that if the IRS was to audit them, they can say, hey, look, all these traders are outside the United States, so that's why we aren't submitting tax documents on their behalf. So just so you know how that works. As it says here, for any tax advice beyond that, get a hold of an accountant. Trailing max drawdown. I know this will be of interest, and this is my very first time looking at this on their site, so let's take a look. I tend to skip the initial stuff and jump right to charts whenever I see a chart. So let's look at the 50K, for example. So account size 10 minis, they mean 10 contracts, like the E-mini S&P ES, which you trade is a mini. So max loss, live trailing drawdown. So keywords there, live trailing drawdown, guys. So it does update during the day, not at the end of the day. And like anywhere else, it stops once it hits the initial balance. And note that in funded accounts, it's $100 above the initial balance. So on 50K, can be $50,100. And again, the key point here is that it is live. So it's not end of day. So if you have a big winner, your drawdown is going to be pulled up by that amount. Just be aware of that. You can always track that in Rhythmic. The commission. So let's take a look. ES, basically $4. I mean, $3.98. That's more than fair. Honestly, these commissions are pretty much in line with like the real world. I say that in quotes, but like what you would pay if you had a brokerage account elsewhere. Different companies charge different amounts. I'm not going to rattle each of them off. I'd say $4 or $3.98 is more than fair. So that's per contract, per round turn. So that means the buy and the sell, or the sell and the buy. Do you have to trade every day? So you don't have to trade every single calendar day in 10 in a row, but you do have to trade 10 days. Guys, there's no way around that. I know everybody, like, they finish in 2 days and they're like, well, why can't they just pass me now? Well, I don't know. I don't work for these companies, but you do have to trade 10 days. So you're going to have to put in additional trades to make it a full 10 days. And that basically sums up, although like there's obviously more information here. I just pulled out the ones that I thought were most important just based on questions I typically get from people. So here's what I would suggest, guys, at this point, since this video is getting a little bit long. They look great so far. I know this wasn't like a thorough review or anything. I haven't gone through them, so I can't say how it performs or how it works, but there's no red flags. Everything looks great. I would definitely, I mean, it looks worthwhile. I would say looks worthwhile for checking out. I would definitely consider giving it a try myself if I circle back and decide to try out for yet another company. I'd encourage you to at least take a look at it. Click on the link below. Come here, read about the different accounts, read the facts, go through everything. If you have any questions you can't figure out, you can email me, but I'm not going to know any more than is on the website. So what I would really encourage you to do is to email Apex and ask them your questions. And that is basically it, guys. So I've put a link over here just kind of temporarily for now as I get more information. I'm actually talking with Apex, so I will put it here. I'm hoping to get you guys a discounted deal, so if you want to wait, you can certainly wait for that. I have no timeline on that, but you know, the second I have one, I will both put up a video and put it here on my website. So thanks everybody for watching.